Hi, I'm Jeremy, and the beautiful lady standing next to me is my wife, Derry. Derry is a flight attendant. So what does that mean for me? Flight benefits. Free flight benefits. To go wherever I want, as often as I want. So join me on my adventures as I fly around as the standby husband. On this episode of The Standby Husband, I'm meeting Derry in California for date night. So Derry and I are staying at the Mission Inn Hotel and Spa here in, where are we at? Riverside? Here in Riverside. Historic hotel built in the 1800s. We'll explore more of it later tonight. A lot of the furniture, like these church pews, were collected by Frank Miller, the original owner, as he traveled. Every room throughout the hotel has a unique layout, different from each other. The original building was a boarding house built in 1876, later purchased by Frank Miller, who expanded it to over 200 guest rooms in 1903. Frank Miller loved the look of the old missions and designed his hotel after it. There are a total of 4 wings throughout the hotel, all with different characteristics, different courtyards, different feels. There's just so much to look at and so much to explore. Here's just one of many of the beautiful courtyards throughout the hotel. In one of the wings of the hotel, Frank Miller added a chapel so that he could host weddings. On one of the walls next to the chapel was the aviator wall, where famous aviators who had stayed at the mission were allowed to put a set of wings on the wall. With how the hotel was built, adding a wing on at a time, it's so easy to get lost, but fun to explore. So many different layers, so many courtyards, and so many different types of architecture, wood carvings throughout, and of course, a beautiful pool. The Mission Inn also offers a behind-the-scenes tour, which we decided to take. During the tour, we saw where they host the weddings in what used to be a large stage for entertaining, which is closed off to the public now. We also got to see some behind-the-scenes stained glass, which was valuable and also very beautiful.
So there's 5 types of art in here. We have some Russian, French, and these Spanish carvings, some Spanish art also. And then we have the stained glass windows on this side. They are done by a woman named Jessie Von Brunt. They were done for the family. They had meaning behind them. You see a good display of the Henry Chapman Ford mission paintings also here in the lowest level. When the bride comes and gets married, they open all the way up and go all the way. They just totally disappear. So it brings the inside out.
The tour also included going into the chapel where they host the ceremony portion of weddings. On the back wall, Frank Miller purchased this from a photograph he had seen and thought it was about 6 foot tall. In this rotunda type courtyard, there was a stairwell against the walls that led all the way to the bottom. One of the main courtyards boasts the Mission Inn restaurant where Derry and I had our date night dinner. I had the filet mignon, which was absolutely delicious, and Derry had pasta. The ambiance was very romantic with lighting overhead, a big fountain in the middle of the courtyard, and beautiful music playing in the background. After dinner, Derry and I were feeling adventurous and wanted to explore more of the hotel outside our bedroom window. Our tour from earlier had ended in this courtyard which had an Asian flair to it with lanterns overhead. We wanted to check it out at night. We were bummed to find out that the lights were not on, but looked like it would be a cool place to hold an outside party. Here was the rotunda type courtyard lit up at night. There we go. We gotta go up to the, what were we, third or fourth floor? Fourth. That's a little sketchy because the elevator starts to make weird noises.
Look at these walls.
There's a weird noise. We made it out alive so far. Derry and I had learned that these fourth floor suites had multiple rooms and were the biggest in the hotel, with up to 2,000 square feet in size. We enjoyed exploring at night. Even though we had seen these locations during the day, I always believe that nice lighting makes for better ambiance. When we were dropped off at the Mission Inn, we came in through this entrance. I liked it much better than the main entrance, so wanted to show it in the video. On this side of the hotel is the Presidential Lounge, which celebrates all the presidents that have stayed at the Mission Inn in the past. One president also got married here. On the outside wall of the lounge was an oil painting for each president who had stayed at the hotel. On the cocktail menu, there were a few drinks named after presidents. However, when asked the legitimacy of the cocktail to president, they said it was just a novelty item. If you have not stayed at the Mission Inn yet, I would take the opportunity and do it sooner than later. During our tour, we learned that the city has financially bailed out the hotel in the past, as it has changed owners several times. One detail I almost forgot to mention are the bells throughout the hotel. Frank Miller had a nickname for his wife, Belle, so purchased nearly 100 bells that are throughout the hotel, the oldest one dating back to 1247. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Standby Husband, and please join me again.